Weibert Arthus is Haiti's ambassador to Canada. Ambassador Arthus, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
There's very little information as to precisely what happened. The interim prime minister says the assassination was carried out by an armed commando group. There's some suggestion that it included foreigners. What's the latest information that you have on this assassination?
There is an investigation going on right now, and we don't have much more than what you said. And that sad event happened last night. Around midnight and 1 a.m. A group of foreigners, according to the information we have, introduced themselves to the president's private residence and killed him and wanted his wife. For now, the investigation is going on, and to not only understand what happened, to identify who did it, and to explain to people what is it about.
How do you know, Ambassador, that they were foreigners? What is the information and the proof that you have that this was an attack from people from outside of your country?
Okay, I have to say that the information I have came from the government. So I repeat what was said by the Prime Minister. And I think that the first information we have is the fact that they were speaking foreign languages, especially Spanish and English. So I think that this is the two elements first that the government had. I don't know if they have maybe any other complementary information, but this is what I learned from the government.
Do you have any idea as to the motive, as to why this happened? I mean, there has been a lot of political instability in your country, a lot of protests, but you have any notion as to why somebody would kill the president?
No, as I said, the investigation is going on to understand and know the motives and know the actors, but we don't have nothing new until now. And of course, we've been having political problems, political violence for some months now. But Canadian president, for political reasons, is not part of the game. So we need that investigation to go further so we can have the elements to know what happened.
But if your information, sir, is that the gunmen were foreigners, does that suggest to you that this was a political assassination as opposed to, say, a criminal or gang-related act of violence against your president?
It can be anything. I wouldn't like to speculate, and I prefer the investigation to follow its course, and so we can understand. And we've been seeing that in some African countries or some other places that people with political affiliation or political motives paid mercenaries to do some bad thing in the countries. I think, I don't want to speculate, but I think that anything is being considered by the investigators.
So in the wake of all of this, who is leading Haiti? Who is running the country? Because I understand that the Prime Minister has said that he is in charge, but the Prime Minister is due to be replaced maybe as soon as this week. So how sustainable is that situation, and how long do you think that can last, sir?
Yeah, it's a very complicated situation, I must admit, because in those cases, first, the person in line is the Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister is an interim Prime Minister. And if not him, it will be the President of the Senate, but because we don't have Parliament for some years, actually, the election must be held at the end of the year to elect a Parliament. And the President of the Supreme Court, who is also one of the person in lines, unfortunately died, I think, 2 weeks ago due to COVID-19. So actually the only person is in his capacity that can take charge is the government and his Prime Minister, Dr. Claude Joseph. And yes, there was decision to appoint a new Prime Minister, but unfortunately, that Prime Minister did not take charge yet. So he didn't have a government. He didn't take charge. And the government and the Prime Minister in charge right now is the interim Prime Minister, Dr. Claude Joseph, and the interim government.
Okay, I want to just walk through that to make sure it's clear. So the president has been assassinated. The top judge, who could maybe bring some stability to the situation in Haiti, passed away due to COVID-19. The current prime minister, who says he's in charge of the country, is an interim prime minister who is set to be replaced, but the incoming prime minister is not yet ready to assume office and hasn't formed a government yet. All of that speaks to tremendous instability. I mean, do you anticipate, sir, that the transition will be able to be made to the incoming prime minister, or will the current prime minister, Claude Joseph, simply stay on longer?
Again, I don't want to speculate. I don't think it would be easier for the prime minister nominated, because he didn't take charge and he didn't have a government. But in any situation, the best solution will go through a political dialogue. Mm-hmm. I mean, that government doesn't have, as I said, fully capacity to do all the things himself. But we will need definitely a political dialogue with different actors, with the judges, and even with the new team that was supposed to take control of the country. Because one thing we have is September we were supposed to have election. Mm-hmm. So hopefully the situation will be as calm as possible, so that government will lead the transition through the election in September at least.
How worried are you, sir, that the fallout from this assassination and the sort of the political vacuum that follows it could lead to an escalation of violence in your country?
No, I really don't know. I don't know. I'm maybe speaking in the as they say in French, dans le meilleur des cas, in the best of the cases. But I really can't know for sure today what will happen tomorrow in Haiti. What I'm sure of is that the situation actually is calm. The government declared a state of siege for 15 days, so to make sure that the country is peaceful. As for the political running of the country, I don't have anything for sure I can predict.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that Canada stands ready to support the people of Haiti, and the Prime Minister says Canada will offer any assistance your country needs. What do you need in the short term, and has any requests for aid yet been made?
I saw right now the government does not instruct me to make doesn't give me instruction to make any specific request to Canada. I think that in the following hours it will be the case, and I will be in touch with the Canadian partners to present them the demand of the government, if demand there will be.
Okay, Ambassador, thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.